It was after a visit to China that I realized the only way to show the artists and also get an audience to share who are not Chinese, to educate them in art, the only way would be to have some sort of venue. And that's why I have the gallery. When I got the idea of having an actual gallery, I realized I had to do it properly. So each piece we respect. My curator, he will get the simplest piece, which another museum or gallery maybe just put in a corner. He will think nothing of building a whole room for it and getting visual sound effects and what have you. David is the curator, Jim looks after it all. They don't just say this piece of art was bought for the collection, push it in a thing. They actually look at that as one individual object, not like any other object. It's living in the collection. It's got its own personality. It's got its name, and it lives there. It's a part of the community. I know that sounds crazy, but that's sort of what it is. Because I'm sharing the collection with people that a lot of them have never looked at art, and they've never been brave enough to say what they think about it. Because the art lovers and museums, they are very controlling, and they will always tell the audience what they like and why they should like it. So ordinary people that go into a gallery are very intimidated because they don't know, and they might think it's terrible. And they come back and they bring their friends and they bring their parents, and they might only come there to do TikToks. They'll put it online, and then other people will come because they want to get their TikTok better. And by the time they've been there 6 times doing their TikToks, they absolutely understand the lighting, they understand the picture. I could give them a job. They've taught themselves by looking. I feel I've succeeded in that way with the audience, and I also think I have managed to give the artists an opportunity for the West to know them. The big voice has to come from China, but as I mentioned earlier on, the newspapers and magazines, they don't like it. You might get lots of art magazines here, that's it. And you need a bigger market. I personally think it's very, very bad. It's bad for the artists, but it's also bad for us in the West. We need the information so we can make choices. We don't want to see our same people all the time. We want to see a massive choice. Nobody will know. So that's up to all of you to shout loud. Well, I think I'm extremely privileged and fortunate to arrive at a time when people are busy and a lot of people have time to paint and draw. When there's troubled times, people have to just survive. You know, art is a luxury. I don't believe you should use art financially. People say, oh, you're living the dream, you know, this is what you wanted. That's not true. I think my place was to be with the collection. It's called White Rabbit because it's a White Rabbit collection. So the artists, they just say that White Rabbit collection. They don't say, you know, my collection. We all own that collection. It's our story. I didn't want to give it my name because I think that also frightens people. And also we'd had quite a few people from Westerners come here, make promises, and then through circumstance were unable to keep their collections and sold things which had been given to them at a very reduced price on condition that it was not sold. So I didn't want a Western name to it. I like to share everything I've got, you know. Actually, I want people to feel the excitement that I got when I found it. So maybe that's selfish. I don't know. It is selfish. Because what's the point of having something if you hide it away? No. There's funding to look after it for 50 years. And then after that, I don't know what's going to happen in 50 years. Maybe it comes back to China, but you'll have to build another big building to put it into. But it is the history of China. It will be a brilliant research. I think maybe its history and value will be there because nobody else is going to try doing it. I would be delighted if somebody could say, if that idiot could do this, I can do better. That is my dream. Contemporary art is the document where people can see what happened. It's the history of the country, the people, the world. Contemporary art is global art, but it's focusing on China. I'm just so happy and proud that we've been able to do this for 25 years. Very happy with the friendships I've made and the team that I have working for me. I think it was the right thing to do, and I'm privileged to have been the one to be able to get it together. But it couldn't have happened without so many people being part of it. It's today's art. Yeah. So I don't know. So they're working with today. They've got the history of what happened before, and maybe they're adapting that. Know or like could change tomorrow. Maybe another medium happens and we don't want to actually have the objects. Maybe it's all in the air. We don't know what's going to happen with contemporary art, but we do know what's happened in the past. Now I'm focusing on the path, the road. I want to be there for each discovery, whether it's personal or scientific or whatever. I've seen how we're walking the road, and I want to carry on that road with lots of people.